I'd like to clear up something worrying most tax practitioners and financial advisors, and this concerns whether or not you can use capital gains income in determining the amount of taxable income or remuneration in the 27.5% retirement fund rule. We know that 27.5% of the greater between remuneration or taxable income may be used to work out the allowable deduction, and we know that the allowable deduction is capped at 350,000 Rand a year. Treasury issued a document in July 2016 relating to the Taxation Laws Amendment Bill, and this includes an example that offers an interesting side to this calculation. Their example helps explain how income from capital gains can be used in the calculation of 27.5% of taxable income to determine a limit to the retirement fund deduction. The example also illustrates that the limit may be restricted to a portion of actual remuneration. Let's have a look at the workings and figures in variations of Treasury's example. In our example, we can see a salary of 175,000 Rand plus 10,000 Rand other remuneration income. Note that the definition of remuneration for this type of calculation has been extended to include taxable and tax-free income, such as net tax-free dividend income from South African shares that are taxed at 15% at source, and the dividend payout to the shareholder is tax-free. It also includes income from private trade, rates income, etc. This taxpayer also made a 790,000 Rand capital gain profit. After the 40,000 Rand annual exclusion was granted, 40% of the remaining 750,000 or 300,000 Rand was added to income. The taxpayer made a contribution of 150,000 Rand into his RA fund in the tax year. We can see that the taxable income of 485,000 Rand is greater than the remuneration income of 185,000 Rand. So our limit for a claim for retirement fund contributions is 27.5% of 485,000 taxable income, or 133,375. The 150,000 Rand actually contributed is more than the 133,375, so the allowable deduction is limited to 133,375 Rand. As long as this 133,375,000 is less than the remuneration income excluding capital gains, then the 133,375 will be allowed as a deduction. In Treasury's example shown here, a taxpayer earned a salary of 75,000 Rand and also earned 10,000 Rand from other remuneration income. This taxpayer also made a 790,000 Rand capital gain profit. After the 40,000 annual exclusion was granted, 40% of the remaining 750,000 or 300,000 was added to income. This taxpayer made a contribution of 100,000 Rand to his retirement annuity in this tax year. We can see that the total taxable income of 385,000 is greater than the remuneration income of 85,000, so our limit for a claim for retirement fund contributions is 27.5% of 385,000, or 105,875 Rand. The 100,000 Rand actually contributed is below the 105,875, so the 100,000 Rand can be used as a deduction against the remuneration income, but remuneration income excluding income from capital gains. What SARS is saying here is that because the remuneration income is only 85,000 in this example, then the claim is limited to the remuneration income of 85,000 Rand in this case. The excess contribution of 15,000 Rand can be carried forward to next year or will be granted as an extra tax-free amount at retirement. Now let's see how Wintax handles these two examples. In this first example, we can see here 175,000 Rand salary, code 3601. The other income screen shows us the 790,000 Rand by way of the capital gain profit and the 300,000 Rand over here, which is added to normal income. And down here is the real estate investment trust income of 10,000 Rand. On the deduction screen where we enter the retirement fund contributions, you can see here we've entered the 150,000 paid into the retirement annuity fund during the year. If I bring over the auto summary screen, you can see here the 150,000 deduction claimed against our total income for tax of 485,000, and the program has worked out the deduction allowed as being 133,375. In Treasury's example, you can see here the total income from salary is 75,000 Rand. Looking at the other income screen, you can see the 790,000 from the capital gain, with the 300,000 added after the 40,000 annual exclusion and 40% of the balance. And down here you can see the 10,000 Rand from the real estate investment trust income. And you can see here, as per Treasury's example, we paid 100,000 Rand into the retirement annuity fund during the year. And if I bring over the auto summary screen showing all the bottom line figures, you can see here there's our total income for tax, there's our deduction claimed, that's the 100,000 we paid into the retirement annuity fund, and the program's worked out the deduction allowed is the 85,000 Rand. Wintax program users don't have to worry about any of these calculations, as the program works out all of the answers for you.